Certainly, this is an emotional subject and something that does need a solution. And certainly, I think you have some comments to make about where we stand with the Vision Quest right now.
Absolutely. First and foremost, thank you all for taking the time out of your summer night to come here. It shows a lot of courage to speak publicly about this for far too long. This has kind of gone underneath the radar across our state and across the country, and we're seeing an epidemic because we don't talk about it. So I applaud your efforts to bring this to the forefront, to bring light to this issue. As city manager and as the city government, our priorities go, when we address this issue, are number one, protection of life, number two, sustainability of recovery, and then number three, finding a modeling for continuum of care. So first and foremost, protection of life. The cease and desist letter, if you read the entire letter, it was actually a request to Vision Quest to come meet with us. We knew this has been going on. There's many of you here tonight, but over the last several years, there's been equally as many coming to our council meetings, reading off lists of these homes, neighbors and residents who are concerned, who don't know what these homes are because they are under the radar. A lot of misinformation or no information. And so our request of Vision Quest was to come meet with us, and our letter specifically said we would like to work with you to essentially come into compliance. We have every legal right to shut down all the Vision Quest homes right now. But because our number one priority is protection of life, we have not done that. We have not gone and got a court order. We have not forced these homes closed immediately because, to be quite frank, there's 80 human beings in this program currently, and their lives matter, and they need to be protected. And so we're not going to do that as a community. We want to work together. So I hope you recognize that we have taken that step, so that we've requested a meeting with Vision Quest. Second priority is sustainability of recovery. So we see a national epidemic, and we need to play the long game on this. Recovery and recovering from this opioid epidemic in our community and across the state and across the nation, this is not going to be a 1 month, 6 month solution. This is going to be a multi-year strategy to combat this issue. So we need to find a sustainable model that we can sustain this program in the city of Port Huron and St. Clair County and in the state of Michigan. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to meet with Vision Quest, is how can we work with this organization to make them come into compliance to our laws, to find them proper locations. We had a meeting with Vision Quest, and our specific was we're not trying to shut you guys down. We're going to find a way in proper locations, proper facilities. We had excellent brainstorming discussion on growing the program in a proper location. We look at the continuum of care. The third priority is the continuum of care, a modeling of continuum of care. One of the issues and the problems we lack in our communities, we do not have a facility for those who are just entering recovery. We don't have that facility. The closest one, I believe, is Yale. And so where do people go when they come into our office or they come into a church and say, I need treatment right now? Where can we take them? And we don't have that facility. Recovery House is the next step. But the initial step we don't have. As a community, we're lacking that, and we lack an answer to that question. We believe that Vision Quest, the Blue Water Pastors Association, we believe that those are questions that we can answer together. So you have our commitment when working with Vision Quest is we're going to be humane about this. The model will change, but it may change over a couple years. We also need to know that Vision Quest needs to be respectful of our laws. And of the 30,000 residents who already live here, who bought homes in certain residential districts based on certain assumptions of what their neighbors and neighboring uses would be like. And so we need to work with them as well. If you want to have a sustainable program, you must have community buy-in. And community buy-in must come from the residents in that neighborhood as well. And right now there could be a disconnect there based on some misinformation. So we will meet with Vision Quest again, I believe, next week or 2 weeks from today. We have another meeting with Vision Quest to work with them on how we can become compliant. What do we do about the current residents? Are they going to stay there? Some properties are in compliance, some are not. We want to work with them, but they point blank said to us, for years we've just hidden in the shadows because we knew we weren't legal. Well, that's not a way to make a program sustainable, especially when we have an epidemic. And so let's continue this conversation. I appreciate the civility of tonight. This is an important issue. I know it's an emotional issue, but if we're going to win the long game, We need to maintain civility and work together. And you have our commitment as the city manager, as the mayor and council, and as city administration, from our legal counsel, that we will work towards solutions, not just shutting people down. We haven't done that. And I hope that effort's recognized. So I appreciate you again showing the courage to come to our meeting tonight. We see a lot of human capital here. There's value in people. I said this last week, 2 weeks ago, and I'll say it again. In the city of Port Huron, we do not have throwaway people or throwaway populations. The future of Port Huron has a place for everybody. And so let us work together to develop a long-term sustainable solution to, one, protection of life, sustainability of recovery, and finding a continuum of care model that can be modeled across the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freed.